Good morning. I didn't get to film anything last night because Zach was editing our video and I was running interference with Tiny Human, so I wanted to show you what I got done last night. So this is what I have draped. It looks real rough right now, but I've got a seam down the center and I've got a mark here where I need to take it in, and I've pinned the neckline down because I tried it on with the shirt and it was too high. And I did end up needing to put darts here. I'm gonna see if they're necessary, because the other thing that I did was I'm gonna have it lace up the back. So I'm trying to make modifications so that it fits right now. And I've got some marks on some adjustments that I need to make. The sides have been pinned in, and then I do need to take in the center portion, and then we'll try it on again later tonight. And this is just the lacing strip off of my Regency stays, because why redo all those eyelets? And I'm gonna make sure that it fits nicely and is snug over the shirt. That is where we are gonna be. I think I found my circle skirt pattern. I think I'm just gonna use the circle skirt pattern. I'm gonna put pockets in it, so there's gonna be side seams and there's gonna be a seam at the back for me to get in. If I'm wearing a petticoat, I might just go with a placket. But first we have to figure out the fit of the bodice. So that's where we are. I will check in later tonight. So we finally got around to putting in the modifications. I took in like 2 inches on either side of the bodice, just straight down. And the bottom part fits nicely. I think it's about as tight as I wanted, especially with the layers underneath. And I might wear my corset under this, so I want to make sure there's space to accommodate that, just to give me like the structure, but it's too big. So we need to take in some of the back, and we need to take in some of the front up here, probably like that, and like just gradually taper it around the bust to do that. And I did cut down the neckline, so you can see I drew on where I would like the neckline to be with seam allowance. So that's the 1/2 inch seam allowance that I have for attaching the lining, so that it'll fold down to there, which is where I want it. And then this is about where I want it, because it's about a 1/2 inch higher than my natural waist. This is my circle skirt pattern, and then I'm just gonna attach on. And I'm obviously gonna extend it so it'll be longer, because it needs to be like mid shin. And then I'll probably just straight up use this for the petticoat. That is the plan. And yeah, I think progress is being made, but now I need Zach to put down the camera and help me do the pinning, because I can't do the pinning in the back. Okay, so I think we're at a point where we can proceed with deconstruction of the mock-up and move on to finalizing pattern pieces and cutting out the actual fabric. So you can see we had to take out a significant portion here in the front. It's like 5/8 of an inch up to like almost an inch up here. Curvy girl problems. And then in the back, we took in some at the top of the lacing panel and effectively did a dart, but I'm just gonna cut that on an angle. I am gonna accommodate for an actual lacing strip out of the actual fabric. So this is what we're gonna go with. And now I'm gonna turn it into a paper pattern. Alrighty. Fabric was ironed. Now in a giant pile on the floor. Bodice pieces are cut out and marked where the boning channels and the darts go. And next step is to sew the bodice together. So we start with darts. Darts are almost always the first thing that you do. Darts and tucks and all that jazz. Yeah, we will move on from there. Woo! Alright, slight change of plans. I went to lay out the fabric to cut out the skirt, and I don't have enough fabric to do the circle skirt. So I am going back to this pattern, and I'm using the skirt pieces from that, and I'm just adding more volume at the hem and making them longer. So that's what we're gonna do.
all of the skirt pieces are cut out. I was able to add some width and the length, and I've cut out the necessary pockets because I'm not making a dress without pockets again. I've got the bodice pieces cut out and marked, and the lining pieces cut out and marked. And this that I was using for the mock-up actually is a pretty good color for this, so I think we're going to keep using that. And here's what I have left. I need to somehow get a hair bow out of that. I think I'm going to not make a bow like I did last time where I just sewed it together a tube of fabric and then had to tie it every time. I think I'm going to artificially create a bow, because tying a Disney bow takes a lot of skill, and honestly asking Zach to tie a Disney bow in my hair every single time I wear this is not fair to him. So you're welcome, Zach. I'm gonna make one Disney bow, hot glue it to a barrette or a clip, and move on with our lives. This should come together, the dress should come together pretty quickly. The petticoat and the apron are the only pieces that I have left. I think I'm gonna make the apron out of the linen because I like the weight of the linen. We'll see. But that's currently the plan, and I need to order a ruffle for the petticoat. So the petticoat probably won't be done. I'm gonna go look online and see what I can find. So I have the skirt pieces pinned on Daisy, and I think they're gonna be okay. I have to muck with the hem once they're all attached, but you know, they're up there. I've got the lining and the exterior of the bodice cut out and assembled, and all the darts are sewn in and all the pieces are put together. Now I'm going to sew around them. I don't have the shoulder seams sewn shut because that's how I'm going to flip the bodice right side out. So I'm going to sew all around the seams except for along the bottom, flip it right side out, clip the curves and the corners, and understitch as much as possible. Put in pockets. Pockets are over there right now, but I know where they need to go. Put in the pockets, assemble the skirt panels using French seams, attach it. Here we go. The bodice is done-ish. I have sewed the lining to the exterior. I have attached it at the straps. I have started sewing the boning channels at the back. I gotta do eyelets. Everything there is done. Now I need to assemble the skirt and attach the skirt. I must go acquire a tiny human, and I will resume work on this evening. Front and back skirt panels are assembled. It's pocket time. That last clip is irrelevant because I forgot to film the rest of putting in the pockets. But they are attached. Pocket is here. Pocket is here. And the other two pockets are on the other side. In the morning I need to understitch the pockets so that they stay towards the inside. And then all down the side I need to do the French seams. And then we'll put the skirt on the bodice, which is over there on the dress form. And I'm going to need to put a slit down the back and put in a placket, hem, and hand finishing. The apron shouldn't take long, and the petticoat shouldn't take long. I'm just going to use the same pattern, but out of the linen. Yeah, I'm going to bed though. It's the next morning, and I have understitched all the pockets, and I'm working on pinning the skirt sides together so that I can do the French seams on the side seams and assemble the skirt. And I had a realization. I have not been paying attention to how much thread I have left. I think this might sew the skirt together, maybe. And that's what we have in the bobbin. I'm a monster. Why do I keep doing this to myself? I keep putting myself in a situation where I don't buy thread for a project because, oh, I have thread and I find the perfect thread and I don't have enough. So probably later this afternoon I'm gonna have to go to Joann's and buy more thread. Alright, so the skirt is attached. Obviously I don't have the lacing in the back. Pockets are in. That's necessary. The next step is put in eyelets just so I can actually properly fit, make sure that everything fits before I do any other finishing work. So I have to probably finish attaching the bodice and then hand sew in the eyelets. And then I'll take care of this bit here, the placket. Probably put just like a hook and eye at the top of the skirt. Lacing will make this fit better. And you can't see the length, but it's slightly too long. I'm gonna let it hang and do the hem in the morning. So, all right, so I have gotten this done. There's a placket sewn in. I'm gonna attach a hook and eye. But if I'm real with you, I've gotten to the point in this project that I like to call the dark night of the soul, where I just want it to be done and move on to other things. What I have ahead of me is a bunch of hand sewing. I'm gonna hand stitch the lining down, and then I need to hand stitch the straps and decide what I'm doing for the eyelets. I'm probably gonna hand sew them. Yay, hand sewing. Let's do this. It is the next day in the evening and I have completed my hand sewing tasks. I stitched down the inside of the lining and the straps, and I watched some Great British Bake Off and was able to get myself back out of the dark night of the soul for this project. Now I need to actually go in and stitch down the boning channels on here, reinforce them over here on this side, and then mark where the eyelets need to go and hand sew the eyelets so that I can figure out what to do with this back closure situation on the skirt. But I want to make sure before I do anything else that this actually fits. So we're gonna put the eyelets in and see what happens when I can actually lace it closed. I'm using this embroidery floss that I have inherited in my massive stash of embroidery floss. I have 2 of these and a smaller one. That's what I'm gonna go do, and I will check in when progress has been made. Okay, so I have measured out my eyelets and I have marked them all, and I have started sewing them. Yes, I'm hand sewing the eyelets. No, I don't care that it's gonna take 85,000 years. While they might not be beautiful, they're getting better, first of all. Second of all, they, from a distance, blend in way better than the brass ones that I would be working with normally, I suppose. I've gotten 7 eyelets sewn in the course of the evening. Again, I am getting better. They're getting cleaner as I move up towards the top, which is good. By the time I get to the other side, they should be a lot better, and we should be in a place where I can just get those done. All right, but we're in a good spot. I feel good. I have hand sewing ahead of me, which is good. I'm working on my eyelet stitch. I'm getting better slowly, but the thread is basically a perfect match. Thank you, Zach, for having excellent eyes and being able to see that. And I will see you guys probably on Friday. It is Friday night, very nearly Saturday morning, and I have 2 pieces of good news. Number 1, of the 24 eyelets that I need to hand sew, I have 2 left. The other good news is it fits. Now I have to sew those last 2 eyelets, which might take me like 20 minutes. Then I have to figure out the skirt closure and do the hem, and the dress is done. And then I can move on to the apron and the petticoat. So I will check in with you tomorrow. So it's been nap time, and I've been working on this Saturday, and Zach's been editing, so I haven't had an opportunity to check in. But as you can see, the dress is over there. It's on the dress form. I am done hand sewing the eyelets. Yay! So I'm moving on to other parts of the project. And what I'm working on right now is the apron. Alright, so here's what I got done. I cut out the piece for the apron, hemmed the sides, and I attached a pocket. Putting things in pockets with one hand is hard, but I use that as the gauge You can see it's a little short, but you know, who cares? I'm about to sew the hem on the bottom. Run gathering stitches on the top to gather this down to the width that I want it to be. And then I'm going to attach it to the waistband. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to make the front section of the waistband a regular waistband. Then I'm gonna fold the edges in and stitch those down and have the narrow in the front, big bow in the back situation. I thought about making one that just has a hook and eye and the bow is sewn on, but I don't know if that would be harder or easier. It might actually be easier, because then I don't have to worry about tying the bow every time. I'll figure that out. And then this dress is up there hanging. I need to let it stretch out, and then I'm gonna adjust the hem. It's been hanging for a while. I don't need to let it hang for too long. Once I have the apron sorted, I am going to work on the petticoat and the hem after she goes to bed. I'm gonna get back to sewing. I was sewing the waistband on the apron, and I got to the end, and I've been out of bobbin thread since slightly less than halfway. I have gotten the ties attached to the apron, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just put a hook on the ties and have these be the tails of the bow. I have cut the bow. I measured the back of the dress and looked at a reference photo and came to 11-ish inches, and the center part of the bow is real big, so I just used whatever scrap I had that looked right. So it's gonna do this jobby, and I'm gonna stuff it to make it defy the laws of physics. I just cut the zip ties for the boning for the back around the lacing strips. Those are laid out waiting for me to finish the back skirt closure, because then I can put these in, then I can finish the tops, and then do the hem, and then the dress is done. So this bias tape that I have, it's an exact match for this fabric. I'm 11 inches short for the hem. So I have some that'll be close enough, and this is at the back, so it's fine. I lied. I just found some more, so we're gonna finish it in the right color. Yay! Bias tape is all attached and pressed under and ready to be hand stitched down, which means the dress is all finished but for the hand sewing. That's how much thread I have left on the spool. That's all that's left. It's like maybe half a bobbin. I have enough to do the rest of the hand sewing. Then that's pretty much just about it. I also have, this is the butt bow for the apron. The apron has just hand sewing left. Sew on the clasp and sew down all the bias tape on here and sew close the boning channels on the top, and then it's the petticoat. Hello, and welcome back. For the petticoat, I'm going to take the skirt pieces directly off of the pattern, just like I did on the last petticoat, except I am going to be adding seam allowance on either side so that I can sew the pieces together with French seams. And I am going to be extending the petticoat a little bit. I'm also going to be adding some eyelet trim to put a ruffle on the bottom. That is going to be the bottom. So I'm going to do that. Then I am going to put on a waistband. I'm going to have a dress hook, probably just a dress hook on the waistband, and a placket to finish it. That's what I'm going to do, and I will see you once I am constructing pieces. And progress has been made. I have cut out the waistband, and I have the petticoat is all assembled. French seams on the inside on everything. It's the side back seam where the closure is, and I waited to do this seam until all the other seams had French seams in them, which meant I didn't sew any of them incorrectly, because sometimes I do that and it makes me angry. So I sewed all of them together flat without the seam that I knew I was putting the closure in, pressed and trimmed all the seams and French seamed them, and then did the last seam, because then it's very obvious at that point what's the right side and what's the wrong side. And sometimes I have problems with that with fabric that doesn't have a clear right side. I'm gonna now attach the waistband to the skirt. If I need to pleat or gather it down into the waistband, that's fine. Gives it more floof, more volume. It's a petticoat. We will then be at the point where I can put it on the dress form and let it hang overnight. And when the lace gets here tomorrow, I can do the hem and then the petticoat's done. Hooray! I did want to show you that at the base of where this opening is, there it is. There's a satin stitch. There's a really skinny zigzag stitch there to reinforce it. And then I just double folded those over. So there will be no raw edges in this petticoat. So hopefully I can wear it and wash it and it can, you know, live a good life before it dies. Unlike the other one. And there she is. She is complete, but for the hook and eye closure and the ruffle, that'll get attached tomorrow, and I will attach the closure with all the other hand sewing that I'm doing, but everything is done. For now, that's where I'm going to stop for the evening. Let me update you on where we are with all of the hand sewing. I have to finish hand sewing the hem of the skirt. I have to attach the closure on that and do the lace and finishing the seams in the shirt and then add the buttons. And then we're done. I scheduled a photo shoot this morning about which I am very excited. We are in the finishing stages now. This is all that 10% of the project that everyone wants to just not do. And it's real tempting. But it needs to get done, because if I don't do it now, it's not gonna get done. And it's wearable! There's still some finishing touches that need to be done, but at this point, I figured I would put it all on. I have the petticoat done and the ruffle is sewn on. I need to finish that edge in there. It's all open. So I need to finish that edge, but there's a clasp on it so I could put it on. The dress is done except for the closure that I put this on so that Zach could mark where the hook and eye closure needed to go.
It's the under the apron one we're doing.
Oh, okay.
That bit.
Yeah. And the apron is on because I had to mark where the hook and eye closure and the pillow bow go so that these dangly bits are the tails and then the bow goes like that. So Zach doesn't have to tie any Disney bows for this outfit.
Yes!
The shirt still needs buttons. So I'm probably not going to put the rose buttons on this one just because this is not going to be the shirt for Belle in its final form. The handmade one is. I'm going to end up using this shirt for Lizzie Bennett and other piratey shenanigans. That's all hand sewing. That's super boring. That's stuff you're not going to see. But otherwise, she is done. You will see finished footage of this here. Okay, and that's a wrap for the Belle 2.0. You can see the comparison between the then and the now, and I feel like I have demonstrated the growth in my own personal skills quite a bit. I'm really happy with the way that this came out. I am comfortable after wearing it on a day when the heat index is going to be over 100. I enjoyed the photo shoot with Dogmo Photography. He is my dad, but you know, he also does a really good job. I can't wait to have somewhere to wear this that isn't, you know, just around the house. I can't wait to have a con to wear this to. Maybe Paige O'Hara will go to Dragon Con. Paige O'Hara, next year, can you go to Dragon Con? And I'm really happy with the way that the hair came out. And the nice thing is I don't have to do a whole lot of makeup to achieve a Belle look. I probably could stand some, you know, hazel brown contacts, but I don't have those at the moment, and they're not cheap. So, if you liked watching me remake Belle in a way that demonstrates an increase in skill level, if you want to see more adventures in costuming and sewing and cosplay, like this video, click the subscribe button, and tell me in the comments down below who is your favorite Disney princess or Disney character, and maybe who do you think I should try next. I think what's coming up next is going to be Black Widow content as far as cosplay, but after that, the world is my oyster, so to speak. So, who's your favorite Disney character? Who do you think I should give a try? And I will see you guys next week with another video. Have a good week!